moderator, Coach Ripley. I'm Elwood Townsend.
Oh, man.
My co-host, Reggie White.
Yeah.
We're excited to be here. We thank you guys for joining in once again. Best Coaches Edition tonight, past and present. I want all my guys that's logging in to send me a message on my Facebook link and let me know your best coaches that you have in mind.
Thank God I'm the host because you just sound like you're drunk. You're like, yeah, log in, send us questions.
Why you got a mask on?
Well, first of all, I would like to thank everyone for getting out and voting for me yesterday. I did win the popular vote in Maryland. I am going to be the next president of the United States of America. Now, truthfully, guys, are you as exhausted as I am about the election?
Yes.
No?
Been exhausted.
Been exhausted?
Yeah.
All right.
I don't even get into that mess.
You don't even get into politics?
No.
Hey!
Wait a minute. I was reviewing. This
This
is
is podcast number 9. All right, so I'm wearing my mask today because we're going to do our coronavirus update. As everybody knows, the numbers are spiking. They're going up.
Coach DeLon Parrish checking in. That's one of the best coaches in the state of
we'll be
Maryland
talking
right
about
there.
DeLon tonight, no doubt. So, like I said, checking in, the numbers are going up. Hospital rates are up today, the highest they've ever been. The United States.
Coach Rick Connor checking in.
The highest they've ever been. So, what's going on in Baltimore County now, Reggie? You're
Did
supposed to
Elwood
start.
look down here? Did he look down here?
Reggie.
I'm here. I know. Listen.
COVID-19. What's going on in Baltimore County?
COVID-19. Well, Baltimore County just pushed back their start date. They have 4 schools opening for teachers on November 9th and for students on the 16th of November. They've shut that down to a time to be determined because of the rising corona numbers.
You getting ready to start football outside practicing, so are you getting a little nervous?
Not yet. Winter has to do the winter is almost like the test dummy.
Okay.
So they're gonna go out there on the 16th and they'll work out all the kinks. So when fall sports come December 7th, it should be smooth.
Augie Maselli.
Sounds like a plan. What about you, Coach? Anne Arundel County, you done?
No, we one more week. Next Friday is the last day for in-person workout.
So you've been out doing stuff?
Yeah, every Tuesday and Thursday.
Tuesday and Thursday. How you guys looking?
We look pretty good.
What do you think?
Well, we don't know. We just had a coaches meeting today, and then the ADs are going to have a meeting tomorrow to kind of find out where they're going to place us at as far as schedule-wise, if a schedule is to be determined in February or something that they're saying. So,
all right, sounds like a plan.
Vernon Southwick.
Sounds like a plan. All right, so exciting news. The MIA starts this weekend.
Yeah, I'm going
Football
to some games.
Football games.
I'm going to be standing outside the gate like I'm in jail.
So I heard that they're limiting the amount of people that can come to the games, but, they can't control you walking up to the fence.
Are they live streaming? They ain't going to keep us up like that.
A lot of people are live streaming, but like this weekend, it's the NFHS network. You got to be a member, Coach. You got to pay some money.
$10,
Right, $10. Are you kidding me for that? You got to pay $10?
$10 a month.
That's some great technology, though. Do you have that at your stadium?
Yes, we do.
Right. That's great technology. I was talking about the other day in Howard County Rec and Parks. They were like, man, you got to pay for somebody to stand up there and video the game. And for people who don't know, the camera goes by the motion of the people on the field. So it moves around.
Yeah, Northeast has it hooked to their press box.
Really?
Pretty nice.
Really?
Yeah, they got it in the gym and on the football field.
Yeah. So we'll get to watch you on the sideline?
Go crazy, yeah.
All right, so let's talk about that.
They
all
said
right, tonight,
no attendance at MIAA games at all.
Who said that?
A guy named Jake Noah on my page.
Appreciate you, Jake.
Jake, thanks for the info. No attendance, but like I said, it can't stop you pulling up in a car and watching the game. Can't stop you standing on a hill watching the game. They can stop you going in the stands, but you still, if you're a football and you're passionate, football fan and you're passionate, get out and watch those games. There's some great football games. We'll cover them a little bit later.
We're gonna be live in Thanksgiving, ain't we?
We'll work on that. Some of us got the whip.
Did you just
whatever we said
did
about
you defer? Did you just defer?
I
We already set this in motion.
I'm talking to my boss. I need to straighten that out first. She's got visions of me being at the beach. So we'll see what happens.
Well, you can't
All right, so
overrun
again,
that one.
we're going to talk about coaches, the best coaches, high school coaches we've seen in our lifetime, people we've been around, people we've coached with. Could get a little testy. Coach put some information out on Facebook, and some coaches got a little upset about names that weren't mentioned by people. You want to elaborate about that a little bit?
I mean, hey, I put my names out there. Some other people put their names out there. Some made the cut, some didn't. You know, I mean everything is determined.
I put my name out there, not my names. My name.
I put my names.
All right, your
out
names.
there.
All right, good. Deal.
My names.
What about you, Coach?
Everything is it's everyone's opinion. There's no factual. I mean, if you went factual, just did it by wins, it would be a concise
All right,
list.
so
it's just opinions.
all right, so let's ask this. So what makes a great coach, Reg? What makes a great high school football coach?
His relationship with his kids, along with his wins.
Wins, all right.
Along with it.
All right, so I
didn't put wins first.
I came up with 3 things. It's got to always have a positive attitude. What do you think? Positive,
Absolutely.
definitely? Always got to be enthusiastic.
Much as possible.
Always got to be supportive.
Yeah.
Without looking at
Not-
my list.
not-
Without looking at my list. Big dog. Be a good coach. What do you got to have?
I say you got to be supportive. One.
I said, don't look at my list.
mean, I
Don't
would've thought of
repeat
that
myself.
anyway.
Think off the cuff here, buddy. Come on, let's go.
I thought about that
What else?
anyway. You got to be passionate about the game and your kids.
I don't have passionate, but good. Go ahead. What else? What else? Go ahead. Go ahead.
You got to be well versed in the game too.
What do you
Gotta know the
elaborate a
game.
little bit more?
You got to know a
Well-versed
little
in the
bit
game.
about football. You got to be a great manager. I think you got to be able to manage people. So that's part of it. So I mean, it's just different things.
All right. What else? Anything else?
One more word.
One more word.
Consistent.
Consistent.
You got to be consistent. I take that
Okay.
absolutely.
All right. So I said you got to be trusting as a good high school football coach. You got to be focused. Got to be focused, most definitely. Got to be goal oriented. Goal oriented. So I remember as a coach all the time, I used to have my kids write down what their goal was for the season.
More than football, be involved in their lives. Somebody said.
Who said that?
Haran Brown used to play
Awesome.
at University
Awesome.
of Maryland.
Great. So guys, type into Elwood's thing and we'll read your stuff out.
Leader
That's-
of men.
Leader of men. Awesome. Biff Poggi down at St. Francis was at Gilman. That's what he always talked about.
Lawrence
Leader,
is a great
Right.
leader of men.
leader of men. What else? Got to be. You say, hey, whoa, I had knowledgeable here. All right, so knowledgeable. Let's ask this question.
I hate you.
Don't do it.
Knowledgeable. How wide is the football field?
I don't know.
100 yards.
How
He said
wide?
wide.
Wide, not
53.
left.
Sorry, 53.
53 and 53 and a half or something like that.
Coach, producer, would you Google that so they get it right?
How wide is a football field?
Let's
So
see.
100
Here we
by
go.
53 and a quarter or something like that.
Now,
Rip.
right,
Don't
man,
do that.
you need to know that stuff. All right,
What
so
I need to know?
so-
53.
so
I
how-
just said that.
no, it's not. It's not the correct answer. All right, so how long is the football field?
120 yards.
Very good. All right, sounds good. I was just making sure. You got to be very knowledgeable of the game.
That ain't got nothing to do with knowledge
all
of
right,
the game.
and I'll round it out with being respectful.
53 and a third.
There you
And a
go.
third,
53
and a
and a
third.
third. You need to know that. Knowledgeable of the football game. Be respectful. You got to be patient. And the most important I put at the end, you got to be an excellent, clear communicator. What do you think?
Communication is key.
Communication.
Absolutely. You got to, and like Elwood said, you got to be a manager
You got to be a manager.
of your coaches, a manager of your players, as well as everything. You just got to manage everything.
You know what? You know what? I'm not coaching right now. And one of the things that used to upset me the most was everybody judged you on like the game, the night of the game. You know what you did at the game. Did you win the game? When they don't realize that it all starts on that after Friday night's game ends. It starts Saturday with checking on your kids to make sure everybody's okay and ready to go.
Well, you ain't
It
got to
starts-
tell me about
right,
that. I
but
coached in the
I'll
hood.
give it to our audience. And then it starts with Sunday, waking up and prepping, watching film, and getting ready with your coaches, come up with a game plan.
Before the Ravens
Right,
game
exactly.
come on, so they
And
had to be early.
It has to be early, right? And then
Nobody cares
Monday,
about that
putting
mess.
in who you're going to play, putting in the scout offense, putting in the scout defense. Then like Tuesday, knowing what you're going to do against that team, and then you have Johnny come and say, "I just failed a test. I can't do this," or you had Johnny got in trouble in a classroom. You got to take care of that, or someone in his family died. So again, like I said,
Got to have empathy.
yeah, there's so many things as a head football coach that a lot of people don't understand. That you have to have. One other thing here is you got to surround yourself with great men, great assistant coaches. What about you?
Do you think the football coaches have to be knowledgeable
Yeah, they need to be
of the
knowledgeable.
game?
Yeah, I just asked you how wide the football field
No,
was.
I'm saying like, so would you rather hire somebody that will become defiant over the years because they know football or they think they know more than you, or would you hire somebody that that is still learning the game It's going to be dedicated, dependable.
Let me answer that.
They're going to be a
long-term
player.
person, but it depends on what your needs are right now.
Yeah.
If you're a strong coach and you got time to develop a young coach, but if you need somebody to take that group and take care of that group while you're doing something else, then it depends on who you hire. You got to hire somebody strong, can handle itself when you need that. But if you're just nurturing somebody, come on along with me. Take that young boy and teach him the right way.
Yeah, and then the
Young boy or
right.
girl.
And then the other thing too is I've been coaching for 22 years. You got to grab the kid who doesn't realize. You got to grab the kid who doesn't want to be the head varsity coach right away. You know what I'm saying? There's so many guys out there that are young and say I could be a head coach right away. You got to start out JV level. You got to be assistant. You got to coach in all-star games. You got to go to clinics. There's so much you have to do to get elevated to that head coach.
How about let's talk about you got to learn how to fix a pair of shoulder pads in the middle of the game, fix a helmet. You got to know how to wash the jerseys, rewash them, and don't put them in the dryer where the numbers melt. I mean, head coach rarely gets to coach during the week. I mean, unless you got that, I try to let my staff coach, and I try to do as much as I can to help them.
But one
you
thing
got
I
to
just
learn
took from you, Reg,
how to take the water out.
Yeah.
You know
One
what I'm
thing
saying?
I just took from you to sitting there before we just started was I asked you how many guys went to Milford that's on the coaching staff, and then you said X amount of them you coached. So that's like part of building great chemistry with a coaching staff. When you got guys, they know how you are as a coach because they played for you. So now they coach for you, so they already know what you expect of them. So that's real good, and that's what I've tried to do over the last few years is try to bring some guys that played for me, bring them back, and try to get them to come and coach and everything. So some of them have time, some of them don't. Some want to be invested in it. I typically try to find coaches that I won't say you. Every coach is not going to be passionate like you as the head coach because you're going to be more vested in it than most of your assistant coaches. But if you can find somebody that's going to put that time in and want to put that time in, then you got a gem.
Absolutely.
All right, so my question now, too, is, all right, so my first coaching gig, I was a JV coach for Frank Tricka at Cardinal Gibbons High School, and then I got elevated my second year to the offensive coordinator for head coach Mark Agent. Mark Agent at Cardinal Gibbons, who's now at Woodlawn.
No,
So, again,
Franklin.
And then I left there after that position, and I went and became the head coach of the JV team for 3 years before I got elevated to the head coach of Cardinal Gibbons. So what was your first coaching gig?
My first coaching gig, I coached the wide receivers at Cheyenne Central High School in Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Wow. Wyoming. So we can add that to the list of 21 schools that you've been to. So I'll just no shout out to Elwood or anything. So how many schools in Wyoming were you with?
No, just one. I was still in the military when I started coaching in high school.
Coach, you were in the military?
Yeah, Air Force.
Don't get it twisted.
Air Force.
Yeah.
Air Force. Air Force. You were in the Air Force.
We work smarter, not harder.
Did you ever fly a plane?
No, jumped.
You jumped out of a plane? Really?
Yeah.
With a perfect parachute?
Yeah, that's what I said when we was up in the air. Like, why we got to go? The plane still work.
What was your first? What was your first coach? So you came out of the NFL. What was your first coach?
I got lucky. I got the head job at Woodlawn High School.
Really? I
My
didn't know
first
that.
kid coming out,
At
yeah.
Woodlawn. So how'd you do your first year?
Oh, made many mistakes. I had a kid named Vinny Fuller who helped me out with these mistakes I made. So we 6-4, maybe 7-3 my first year.
My first year as head coach varsity, I was 4-5.
My first year as a varsity head coach, I was 3-7.
3-7.
My first year at Milford Mill, 1-9.
Jaron Maben just checked in, Coach Reggie White. He said you was ultimately a major part of him getting a full scholarship to play college football.
Wow,
and he didn't even go to Milford.
Absolutely, we took care of him.
Took care of him.
We took care of him.
All right, so before we bring in Joe DeBlasi, we're going to ask him a question. All right, so retired football coaches. Give me two of your favorite and why.
I'm going to give you my former coach, John Buckeister, who won 2 titles in 3 years, 87 and 90 at Milford Mill and Randallstown. They deemed him the winningest coach in Baltimore County in the 80s. I think we appeared in 3 state championship games or 2, and we won the second one. So shout out to my old coach, JB, And then I would just have to come back down to like my man Roger Wren and just give him all credit.
Yeah, Roger, part of the BTC. Retired. 2 top coaches for you.
Of course, I played for one, Roger Wren at Patterson.
I'm asking for different people. You know what I'm saying? But again, as you could say Roger Wren again. Again, Roger, shout out. Go ahead.
So I played for him. I coached against him. I got the the opportunity to coach against him. Got smoked, but I was out there on the field with him. And I would say Coach Chuck Markowitz. I'm a big fan of his. He is never a moment that you call and ask Coach Markowitz to sit down and talk football, and he's always there for you. And he was very instrumental in me obtaining this job at Northeast High School. So I'm forever grateful for that. So.
All right.
Shout out to Chucky boy.
So I'm gonna hit us 3 because I'm gonna say 2 connected together really big in my life. Ben Eaton, who passed away at Dunbar when I first became a member of the Baltimore Touchdown Club. Open Arms, him and Doug Duvall. We did all the big man stuff together. Ben couldn't have been, there wasn't a dry eye in the house when Ben passed away. He was influenced. And then I'm going to piggyback on them. One of his best friends and one of the Baltimore Cities, O.B. Barnes.
Yeah,
at O.B. at Forest Park.
I played against him.
Right, so
Scott, way to go with the black coaches. Good job.
So O.B. Barnes.
Black Lives Matter.
So O.B. Barnes, again, it was always there. Hey, Scott, I was a young coach, 21, 22, 23, always talked to me and was unbelievable. And then I'm going to go with my third guy. I'm going to go with, a lot of people know Brian Abbott at Loyola. I was a defensive coordinator with Brian at Loyola. He was the head football coach. A statistician.
Why did he fire you?
He didn't fire me. I left there and went to Gilman with Coach Poggi. But again, Brian knew the game of football, knew how to make the adjustments. Was really good with the kids. But I tell you, Brian was a very passionate guy where, like you said, upset and screaming on the sidelines. There were many times when him and I used to go at it. A funny story, coaches can appreciate this. I was a defensive coordinator, I had my headset on, and he was the head coach, had his headset on. We did a defensive series, stopped him, ball got turned over to him, and you're supposed to flick that switch as the head coach, offensive, defense, and Brian was calling the offense at the time, and I believe he called wing T or something, and I wasn't a big wing T guy back then. I thought.
And you had the mic on. He was like,
right.
This
So he called a play, and and I was like, kept my mouth shut. Boom, we got tackled, and then another play happened, second down, and third down he called like a draw, and I was like, that is the worst offensive play that I've ever seen or a coach call. And he went crazy. He came running down. You worry about defense. I'll worry about offense. I'm the head coach. You keep your mouth shut and do it. I respect the man because, he always knew the game of football. So, again, shout out to Brian Abbott. He gave me my start in the private sector. Great football coach. He's officiating lacrosse. So, all right, put your headsets on. We got Joe DeBlasio on the line. So, we're going to ask Joe about some of the people he's seen. Joe, what do we got? You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, we can hear you, Joe. What's happening, brother? Welcome back. Third
now,
week in a row.
Now, don't forget this list is a little bit at risk because when I was AD at Gibbons, I hired Scott Ripley as the football coach.
Oh, man.
So,
yeah.
It's definitely at risk.
Got to keep that in mind now. So that either means I know nothing or I know a lot.
We won a championship at Cardinal Gibbons while I was there. Thank you. So good. So good hire.
Wait a minute. Let me get a.
What, that was a D conference?
No.
Yeah, well, the top guy without a doubt's got to be Poggi. I mean, the guy's got 15 MIAA championships. I mean, 12 of them were outright, 2 at St. Francis and 10 at Gilman, 3 shared at Gilman, A conference. Did anybody mention Augie Weibel yet at Poly?
No.
He won 280 games.
Mm-hmm.
Roger Wren, I know you've talked about him. He's on my list. Poly and Patterson. He had 284 career wins. I didn't see Doug Duvall much, but I know his record. He's probably got more high school wins than any high school football coach, 308.
Mm-hmm. Bob Lloyd.
I got almost 2 lists here that, I don't want to pass over people because guys like Pete Pompey and Joe Brune and Bill McGregor, DeMatha came up and then helped Biff.
Shout out to Bill McGregor. He coached me at the 33.
Yep.
There you go. Now, you guys been talking about, I heard Scott talking about Brian Abbott. He'd be on my list with Mike Whittles, Dave Davis, Dom D'Amico, Sean Murphy, Sherm Briscoe, and Scott. I got to put Rip in there. That one might be my A team and my B team. All right, but it's a powerful list up and down. And I still got to throw in George Petrides at City, 257
Scott
wins.
said the check is in the mail, Coach.
Yeah, but it's always got nothing but a zeros, no 1s, 2s, or 3s. It's just a zero. It's a blank. If he sent me a blank one, I'll take it.
Tell us
But
funny.
I got to take credit for him. He built the Gibbons program. Dave Davis was at Gibbons before he went over and did all his winning at Calvert Hall.
Coach, give us a funny story about when you went to interview a coach. What's one of the funniest things that ever happened? Putting you on the spot.
To interview you?
No, not
To
me.
interview
Any coaches. Like maybe
everybody.
Did you wait a minute, hold on. Did you interview Elwell when he lost the state championship?
When who lost?
Oh, did you interview Reggie when they lost the state championship? Oh my God, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that to you guys. All right, go ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
I can't. I don't have any. I don't have any like that.
No?
I really don't. And don't forget.
Go ahead.
I want to make this comment too. A lot of assistant coaches never get mentioned.
Correct.
Two of the best in the business were the former Colts, Stan White and Joe Ehrman, over at Gilman with Biff.
Correct. I agree with you 100%. Yep.
Good list, huh? Good list.
Yeah, excellent list. Hey, Joe.
Let me conclude with this for whoever else is calling in tonight. Highest winning percentage of the guys I've seen and known is Augie Weibel. I mean, he was at close to 280 wins and 75 losses at Poly. South Baltimore guy, knew him growing up. He lived right off of Fort Avenue on William Street. And then Biff's winning percentage, when you throw in St. Francis with it, is 793. Two of the highest percentages winning high school football coaches in the history of this state.
All right, so I'm going to put you on the spot. Who's the number one winningest coach in the state of Maryland?
Oh, it's over at Good Counsel.
You're the man.
Good answer.
Good answer.
Yeah,
I got you, Bob Malloy.
I don't have it.
Bob
Can't get that one
Malloy.
off the top.
Bob Malloy.
That's it. He had 400 and some wins.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. Winningest coach, without a doubt. But see, I never met him and never saw him
Hey,
ever.
Coach,
That's why.
I've met him a couple times, and man is passionate about helping student athletes. You know, that's what he's the man.
Very good. Very good.
All right, Coach. Well, hey, thank you.
Thanks for having me on.
Yep.
All right.
Tonight's our last podcast. We're wrapping it up for the year, so have a good one, and we'll talk to you next year. All right.
All right. Thanks, Scott. Right out. Okay. See you guys.
See you, Coach. All right. Sounds good. All right. So again, you know, we want to emphasize that we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings out here if we miss any names, because there's so many people that are great football coaches. But again, here's what we're going to do. We're going to cover it this way. I'm going to go with, I think, my top dogs in the private sector, MIAA and MIAA B and C conferences. So I'm going to give you my top dogs, and then you think about your Baltimore County guys. You can't mention yourself, but you can talk about that, and you think about some Anne Arundel County guys. All right? All right, putting you on the spot. All right, so again, number one for me in the MIA, you know, I'm going to go with, believe it or not, Dom D'Amico at Mount St. Joe. You know, won numerous championships at McDonough. He has done a great job. He's going to take over Mount St. Joe, the defending champs in the A conference. Great guy, very, very great statistician.
You think they're going to repeat?
Yeah, with him behind the helm, yeah, I think they're going to. But then again, I don't know if they're doing a championship in the MIA. You know, he's got Kyle Schmidt this weekend, so it's going to be a great football game. You know, Dom's brother is always involved in his teams. He surrounds himself with great people. Very knowledgeable guy. Second guy in the MIA, I'm going to go with Richie Shell. You know, Richie Shell's been at BL for a long time. Like I said in one of the podcasts. Solid job. He was roommates of Chip Kelly from big-time Chip Kelly coach, so he knows how to coach.
He's a great man, too.
Richie is a great 4-4 scheme guy, defensive guy, knows how to play that. You know, he's a great – kids care about him. He's excited, and you think about this. He's told me he's only got a couple more years maybe at BL, and he's excited about his teaching career there and staying there forever and, you know, and making his legacy. And then I'm going to go with my last three. I'm going to go with Kyle Schmidt at Spalding. You know, great guy, played at University of Maryland, knows the game. Look what he's doing at Spalding with all the kids going to school. You know, he's putting tons of kids in college. Always has a good program. Was at Athelton, and tied with him, I'm going to go with Ken Brinkman. Ken's doing a great job. Brink's doing a great job at John Carroll.
Sons at West Virginia.
Competitive, right? Sons at West Virginia. He's a guy that when you're always preparing a game, he's always changing things up. And then I'm going to go with Jason Bardoni down at St. Mary's. He's won like 3 or 2 MIA championships, been in the championships the last 3 years, so I'm going to go with him. So that's my top guys in the MIA right now. They're active. Again, you know, we have tons of new coaches in the MIA. We have tons of young coaches in the MIA. And then all over the state of Maryland, looking at our list, we have tons of young coaches that have been around for 3 to 5 years. You know, we need to get, you know, they need to keep going, and then eventually 10 years from now we'll talk about them. So Putting you on the spot, Reg. All right, Baltimore County. What are we looking at? Who do you think are the top?
Well,
You know what? I
go-
shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have put them like that. But go ahead. So who do you think?
Well, you go with the top dog. You go with Burgos over at Franklin.
Okay.
Lord, I know your back itching
That,
right
that hurt.
now.
That hurt. Yeah, you know. Nah,
Man,
Burgos-
is that bad?
Burgos a good guy.
Right.
You know, I talk
Yeah.
to him a lot. You go with Crumholtz over at Kenwood, Rollins at Overly, Payne at Parkville. I mean, these are probably our longest tenure guys in the county, and we got some young coaches. You know, we got some coaches that been in the system, but now just elevated the head coach. But as far as head coaches, I would go with those guys.
Awesome. All right, moving right along. Anne Arundel County.
I don't
wait a minute,
know
hold-
nothing about
All right, let's do this. We'll go Baltimore City.
Baltimore
City.
Uh,
Because you wait a minute. So hold on. So you were at Reginald Lewis
and Douglas.
and Douglas.
Yeah.
All right, then you left there and went to Woodlawn,
Yeah.
and then you left Woodlawn and you went to
Yeah. Coach Markowitz was at
Northeast.
Chesapeake, Meade, North County, and Arundel too.
but Coach.
And he has
Coach
235
right, that's what I was
wins.
about to say. Right, and
Yeah.
a lot of state championships,
Yeah.
and a lot of people know Chuck Markowitz.
Yeah. So
When they say Elwood Townsend,
They
they're
know
like, "Who the
about- they
hell's
know about
Elwood? Who's
Elwood
Elwood?
Townsend. Don't ever
Who's
trip.
who's Fido?"
don't ever trip.
El Weezy.
You know what? I tell you one thing. They say on Facebook you're the best cook coach around. You got the best
Hey,
recipes.
Cooking with Coach, baby.
Cooking with coaches. That's what I'm talking about.
Baltimore City, I would have to, it pains me to my stomach. Lawrence Smith, like I said, he's a great leader of men. He's 7 state championships at Dunbar.
You know what? I saw a stat the other day. It popped up on Max Preps. He's in the top 25 of all time winning coaches in the country, I think, or something.
Yeah, he has over
He has-
100 and
It was,
over
yeah.
140
Well,
something.
I think it was
wins.
based on winning percentage
Yeah.
and state championships.
His winning percentage is insane.
Right.
I mean, I don't think since he's been a head coach, he's probably lost more than 5 games in the season.
I'll tell you, if I had Tavon Austin, if I had who else they had down
He
there?
has some guys. But
He's
I mean,
got some
Tavon's
guys.
Probably the biggest guy he's had.
He didn't coach Tommy Polly, right?
No.
No. Okay.
Lawrence,
Yeah, Lawrence.
Will Crest.
Will Kress,
biggest
right,
guy,
right.
Tavon would be the
Tavon,
biggest guy.
Right.
After Lawrence, I would have to my tie for 2 for me, coaching pedigree would be Corey Johnson and Larry Mitchell. Both stand-up guys, know the game of football. I hate preparing for Corey and Larry with all of the stuff that they do. James Money Monroe, of course,
Shout out to Money.
255 wins in his 35 years. of being a head coach.
35
Isn't he the
years.
coach that went to the Super Bowl last year with the
Yeah,
Ravens?
yeah, he went to the
so
Super
That's a
Bowl.
great
35
great thing the Ravens
Kids
did.
love him. One thing you may not know about Coach Money, he used to coach girls basketball and won multiple city championships when he was the girls basketball coach at Lake Clifton.
And he got a lot of
Yeah.
he got a lot of colorful sweaters and bow ties.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Deacon Money
Money.
Monroe. And then, of course, Patrick Nixon is in the mix talk. You got Sean Markley over at Forest Park, who's doing a really good job. Young, like you said, young up-and-coming coach who played at Forest Park, played for Coach Obi Bonds. So Coach Obi Bonds kind of showed him the way. So those would be my guys. I mean, you got some other guys around the neighborhood that's coming along. Marquise O'Neal over at Poly now. He's trying to turn the program around. So Baltimore City has some good guys, some young guys that's in the coaching ranks. So it'll be interesting. Lawrence is the top dog though. He's the king. He's the king of the city right now.
I mean, not just picking city out. I'm talking about in Maryland in general. I see a lot of, the issue is, people like Doug Duval, people like Ben Eaton, people like Mark Mazzaros. A lot of those guys, they did it for 30 to 35 years coaching, and they love doing it. I don't see many longevity coaches out there.
It was
now.
a different time. The kids were different. But we as coaches, we kind of try to change and adapt to the environment. I think, what was so successful for Coach Duvall and all of those guys, they didn't change with the times. They stayed the way they were and who they were, and they lived on their beliefs and principles, and they didn't bend from it. I think a lot of problems with younger coaches, we tend to try to fit the mold with what the kids are doing nowadays instead of sticking totally to what we want to do and how we've been doing it. I think that's the difference of why you're not having those 20 and 30. Reggie may be the longest tenured coach in Baltimore County. Am I correct?
You are.
How many years?
18, 19.
And
I don't know.
At Milford Mill. Oh yeah.
At Milford Mill. No, at Milford Mill.
At Milford Mill.
Yeah, at Milford Mill. Then a couple with Woodlawn. Then I did college for 2 years. So I'm in my 20-plus years. But I tell you what, just to make a point to Elwood's comment, and what I've been trying to do all these years is the reason I hire my former players is because most of the time they're young and they're energetic. You know, we make them do all the dirty stuff because they're young and energetic. But they can relate to those kids because the gap when I started was probably I was 27. They were 18, 17. So we're talking 10 years. Now they're still 18, 17, and I'm 50. So it's a gap. And I get my coaches, and I'll tell them every day, what is he doing? Why is he acting like that? What did he just say? What did he mean? Because I don't know. It's going like over my head. If it's not football, if it's some street slang, or he just got in his mood, and you know we call them the PlayStation era. They like to just think they can repeat and turn it off.
Everybody, little baby and dip baby.
I'm like, and then they want to hear music at the beginning of practice that you don't understand. And if it's clean, it goes word, because it's all cursing. You know what I mean?
So what's really unique is like at St. Paul's last year and the year before, I played music during the practice, and guys would be like, old-time guys would be like, "What are you kidding me? You're playing music during practice? Those guys need to concentrate." So again, you'll adapt into, again, I said it earlier, wing tee football now we're doing air it out, spread everybody out, throw the football around, high school football. Everybody used to run wing tee, pitch, dive, all that stuff. So now things are changing. So we clearly see what you're talking about. All right, so we got another guest we always have on our podcast, Sean Murphy from Greenville, North Carolina. Sean, you there?
I'm there. Hey, real quick, you mentioned something about wing tee and spread football.
Yeah.
You remember, I'm still old school, man. I think I'm the only one left that still runs the football.
You run wing tee with the 8-man coach?
So here's a great story. So, hold on, Murph. Hold on. So I was at St. Paul's. I was at Cardinal Gibbons. He was been at Curly forever, and him and I are great friends. So I would go down to see him, drop off some stuff. We exchange film for other opponents and want to talk. Man, I went down one time and he had his whole team in the classroom, and he's running double power or whatever. He's drawing it up on the board, and I like playing them in 2 weeks. And I'm like, hey, coach, I'll stay out here. I don't want you to give away secrets and all that stuff. Why?
Come on in.
He said, come on in. I said, I'll show you how we do this double power. We take these two guard and tackle, pull right, and they run to the sideline, try to knock everybody on their ass that they can, and and the guy cuts back against the grain and said, coach, that's how it's done. Came out 2 weeks later and rushed for 500 yards against me. That's how it was.
Well, we did air it out this week, and we completed our first 2 passes during for 20 yards, man. So it's
Did you stop the game and give a game ball to somebody?
That's it, man. We completed our first 2 passes during the year that weren't 2-point plays.
So you're a quarterback, a BCS kid, obviously.
No, he's no. He's going to be he's a very good blocker, though. He's a converted linebacker.
So very good blocker. So in the wing tee football, you pitch the ball to the run, and then you spin around and you lead block.
Yeah.
Is that some crazy football or what? That is some crazy football. Coach, so you won this weekend?
No, we lost. We had our tailback, our best tailback got dinged up and played about a quarter, and so we're a little flat. So I mean, it kind of hurt us because we were expected to be the 2 seed, and now we still got a chance for the 2 seed, but we'll probably be on the road for the first round. So they only take the top 4 teams. So it's
playoffs this week up here. So is it playoffs down there this week?
No, we finish up our regular season on Friday night, which we should be okay. And then we got to wait to see how it all plays out. We did control our own destiny, and now we need a little help. So as far as just seeding, but we're still a little bit ahead of schedule, so I'm still pretty pleased with the kids and the direction. So
Good, Coach. All right, so we got you on the spot here. Give us some best coaches in the state of Maryland that you've seen or about, and fill us in with your opinion.
Dom D'Amico would be probably one of the guys at the top of the list, and the only reason just having watched having coached against Dom and then watching those games against Gilman. I think Dom is a really good offensive mind. I know he's had some players over there, over at McDonough, but he does a good job with them. I mean, I think Dom's an outstanding coach. Obviously Brian Van Duzen's very good up at River Hill. I'm trying to think of some, another guy that was really good. Is Bruce Strunk, who was up at Howard.
Okay, so Bruce isn't at Howard anymore. He moved to Maine, or he's up in.
Okay, but
yeah,
Bruce
he's
was
right. Bruce was great.
Bruce was a outstanding coach. I mean, you got the three of you guys there were outstanding. Again, you, Reggie, Elwood, the three of you have certainly won lots of games. I'm serious. I would say maybe a little bit on the who I think is a really good football coach. Doesn't get a whole lot of credit. I think Richie Shell does a really good job over at Boys Latin. Again, just having coached against them. Now, again, these are all. I'm talking a lot of the MIA guys because that's who we played a lot during my time. But certainly, like I said, I thought Keith Robinson did a really good job over at Perry Hall. Mark Maceras, you guys mentioned. Anthony Burgess over at Franklin. So I think there's a lot of good coaches that have been around, and Baltimore County and Baltimore City that I've really been impressed with. I mean, obviously the guys that you talked about, Ben Eaton, Augie Maceras. I mean, there's so many. Doug. There's a ton of really, really great coaches. For many years, but I would say those are some of the more recent guys that I got a chance to see in person or play or coach against.
So, Coach, earlier tonight we were talking about what makes a great high school football coach. And let me ask you this question because I know you forever. How many kids do you think you've helped get into college over your years?
Probably, I would say maybe between 60 and 70. Probably closer to 70 kids that for all the levels between Division III. Now, and I would probably say out of those 70 kids, probably close to 60 actually played all 4 years. Because we used to place in our trophy case every kid that went on to play and would graduate from that school. And we had a large number of kids. I think part of it was just trying to place the kid at the right place so he could he would be successful and not getting caught up with the level.
Is Deontay your biggest one, Coach?
As far as Deontay made it he's the one that made it to the NFL, but I think I had seven kids that went Division I. Because I had Glenn Williams that went to Duke. I had Eric Franklin that went to Maryland. Jerome Jr. played at UConn. I had Nick DeVanzo played out at New Mexico. I had Joe Patrides that played at Akron. I had Avery Williams that was at Temple.
Yeah.
So we've had I had a lot of kids at 1AA Division II and III. So I think that's the biggest thing is just trying to find the right fit for the kid and make sure he can get to a good. My thing is go where you can get as much money and have an opportunity to play. Right. And go where they want you and they're going to celebrate you rather than, you're
just a number there.
Yeah, just a number. So that was always my big thing with the kids in the college process. And I think I think I heard Reggie was saying is trying to relate to the kids, still keeping it fun. You got to enjoy what you're doing. Part of coaching is, you got to like working with kids and just watching them get better. And I think as I've gotten older, I'll be honest with you, as much as I want to win, it's not as important as it was when I was a younger coach. I mean, I still want to win, but it's not as there's other things that have come into play.
You get to go home and go to sleep now.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
I know the feeling, Coach.
And I also think too is I think Reggie's saying when you have some younger coaches, that helps too because that sort of bridges the gap between myself, who's in my mid 50s, and a 17-year-old. I need those younger guys, just to make sure that they can better connect with the kids as far as what's going on in their world, whether it be, music, anything, you just need that. So, and like I said, I think, believing in your system, whatever you do. I mean, we run the football. That's what we do. And my big thing is always trying to sell the kids what the type of offense we're going to run and trying to be physical. And it's almost like you try to, I hate to say it, but, I try to almost brainwash the kids into believing that they're the most physical team out there. And then they start to take pride in it, and they start to believe in it. So it's having a system that you believe in, and being patient. Again, it's being able to work with parents, being able to communicate with parents, your administration. So there's a lot of things that come into play, and I can see where coaches, younger, you get frustrated because you're always going to have parents that are going to question you. People are always going to question your play call and your offense. My kid's not getting to college. Why aren't you doing more?
Those backseat drivers.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Rip's going to have to put on his list, on his good
Yes,
coaching
so
list,
I
he's going to
think
have to put thick skin on there.
Thick skin.
Yes.
One time
So it's
I
just
turned around in the crowd and were like, "Won't you come down here?"
Yep. And I think it takes, and I think as we all get older, we're a little more patient with all that, and we're not as I don't know, we don't maybe take things as personal as we did when you're younger. And I think it's just experience and getting older, and maybe having faced all these different challenges, and you're better prepared for it when something comes your way. But
All right.
anyway, I think we got lots of good coaches in the in the Baltimore area, and like I said, I think that area certainly produced a lot of good college players, and that means the coaching is very good.
Hey, Murph, so some good news here. You're in like the top 20 for winning as coaches in the state of Maryland, but you've been elevated. There's an asterisk now behind your name. You moved to the top most wins for an 8-man football team.
Yes.
In the state of Maryland.
That's right.
So you're number one.
That's right.
You're number one.
I'm ranked number one in Maryland. It's well, that's good. And at least I'm number one in something.
All right. So hold on. So while we got you on the phone, so we started our show with the presidential theme, me walking in. Reggie played that, and I've lost a steak dinner to Elwood. I was thinking that something was going to happen. How are you doing down there with this election going on? Somebody told me today, well, in the fourth quarter, there's 2 minutes left. One team has Tom Brady at quarterback, and the defense has the Ravens, best team ever as defense. Who's going to win the game? That's kind of what we got going right now.
Tom Brady up top to Randy Moss in the corner.
I hate to say it, but I think this thing is going to play out. It's going to be a couple of weeks. I think you're going to see lawyers and courts, and I just think it's going to get a little bit crazy. And you'd think that with the technology in our country that we could get all these votes counted and validated, but but I don't know. It's kind of. I mean, in North Carolina.
Yeah, I was going to say they haven't even declared a winner yet. What are you guys doing down there?
No.
Come on,
Hey,
man.
Coach, final score 270 to 268.
That could be it. You're right, Elwood. That could be it. It's crazy. So I don't even know. I follow it. I'm kind of a political junkie. I just like it for the strategy and the rhetoric and the way in which the both campaigns try to push their candidate, and I follow it pretty closely. And I was, there were so many highs and lows for each candidate, and I still don't know. I'll be honest with you, I still don't really know who is actually, because you don't know what's going to happen. There's a lot of things happen behind closed doors, That's for sure, and you just never know.
Well, hopefully we'll learn something from this. Hopefully it'll be like, I remember when I first started coaching, coaches hated each other. Now we all like each other, and we can brush it off. I'm hoping that's what happens. Who loses shakes the other guy's hand and say, "Hey, move on. Let's see where we go from here." So.
Well, you know what? If we had coaches that were in politics,
right, we'd be in a better place.
There would be everybody'd be one, because we'd all be pulling the same rope.
Speaking of that, hey, your boy down there won the Senate seat in Alabama. That's your boy.
Ken Clancy got to give all that money back now.
Yeah, I'll tell you what though, he is. I met Coach Tuberville when he was recruiting Nick DeVanzo. He came up and he was awesome, great guy, very personable.
Yep.
And he was one of the few coaches that after the visit sent me a really nice, kind of a funny thank you note. And just, I think he put something in there. If I ever need a guy that knows, an offense from the 1920s, you're the first guy I'm going to call, or something like that.
Right.
But he was just a good guy, really good guy. So
All right.
I
Well,
was happy for him.
all right. Well, good luck this weekend, and then good luck
All
in the
right.
first round of playoffs. Tonight's our last podcast, so we'll check in with you next
Good luck
year.
to you, Coach Murph.
And
Sounds good.
be safe. All right.
All right. See you, Red. See
See
you,
ya.
Elwood.
All
Take
right.
care, guys.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
No problem.
Appreciate it.
All right. Bye.
So, real quick, 2 things, Rip.
Go ahead.
Before you get started, I want to shout out. I don't know what that noise was, Rip.
All right, go ahead.
I want
It's the
to.
Christmas balls that fell off the tree.
I want to shout out to the late great Anthony Knox, who's the former head coach at Randallstown High
Absolutely,
School, and we
Coach
were talking
Knox.
about the wing tee. He called his the West Coast wing tee. He beat me 2-0, and I'm still upset with
2-0.
that. Yeah. And
Seriously,
Keith
just go-
Robinson posted something
What is
in
that?
accordance to this. Have to have a presence, have to have a plan, and trust the coaches you hire to do the job you hire them to do. Keith
Absolutely.
Robinson.
No
What's
doubt.
up, Keith?
No doubt. I'll tell you when I
Ren guy right there.
right when I was with some of the coaches I've been with, totally. The defense coordinator needs to do the defensive part. The offensive coordinator needs to do the offensive thing. You got to be the GM out there running the game, so you got to
Yeah,
have
and
2 guys
I
in
had
the
to
trust.
learn that early. I used to try to hire
everything.
guys and make them run what I wanted them to run. And then I'm fussing about why they not being successful. Well, because it's mine and not theirs. So I had to step back and learn.
Well,
all that.
but the problem there though is it's your name that is labeled with the win or loss. It's your name labeled with the program, and believe it or not, a lot of young coaches don't understand that.
Yeah.
And they got to understand this is how you want to do it. One of the things I remember again at Loyola, I was the coordinator. I'd come in on Sunday. I spent all day Saturday watching film, came up with my game plan, drew it up on the board, spent 30 minutes, had this game plan ready to go, and I would present it, and coach would come up and go, really good job. But he'd erase everything and go, this is what I want to do.
Right.
And then boom, I had to
that
do
was
what I had
hard,
to do.
I
Right.
hired a young guy, Dominic Howard, years
Right.
ago, who's now with me again. Spent a couple of years being a head coach, and he is phenomenal. But I had to learn. Like I telling him I want to run a 3-5, but this is what I wanted to run. And then finally, when I gave him the leeway to do what he wanted to do, he started to take off and flourish. So all I needed to know what is blue, What's blue? So I can yell it back, and so the kids
Right,
can know.
exactly.
Just hire coaches, just hire players you coach. They already know the defense.
Right.
Secret.
All right, so again, we're talking about active coaches out there, not retired, active. Okay, Howard County, we're going to shout out to Brian Van Duzen at
Brian
River
Van
Hill.
Duzen.
Brian's in the top 10, I
Jamie
believe.
Willis.
Looking at Brian, Jamie Willis, Will Bell.
Coach Marcus over at
Marriott's Ridge.
Marriott's Ridge, yes sir.
Sean Frederick over at Hammond. He's got
Mount
Doug
Hebron, coach.
Mount Hebron. He's got Doug, as one of his coaches. So he's going to learn. So again, some great coaches in Howard County. Carroll County. Let's shout out about Carroll County. Larry Luth's doing a great job up there.
Yep.
At Liberty, every time you play him, that guy knows
Mike
what
Krause,
he's doing.
real good guy.
Yeah, Mike Krause. It was assistant. We talked about
Yeah.
assistants for the longest time
To Steve.
and then took over, and he's doing great things there. Moving to Frederick County, some of the active coaches
My
up there.
man Rick Connor.
Right, Rick's
You
doing a
love
great
saying
job.
Rick's name, don't
I
you?
love Rick. Oh, my bad, coach. I forgot they
Nah,
beat Mill for Mill.
Phenomenal job.
What was the
No.
score in that game?
28-27.
But then again, see, Rick is the type though. He beat you. You walked up and gave the guy a hug because he's the man. You know what I'm saying? Didn't you give him a
I
hug?
don't think
shook
Reggie
his
gave him a
hand.
hug.
You shook
I
his
don't
hand.
think he gave
See,
him
if
a
it would have
hug.
been me, I'd have gave him a hug. Rick's
Nah.
the man.
But I
you know?
like the fact that every time I reach out to Rick, he opens practice up. Hey, coach, you can come up watch practice.
Right.
All that stuff. So I appreciate that
Right.
kind of stuff.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. Kurt Stein at Oakdale.
Yeah, Kurt.
Doing a great job. Kurt, very knowledgeable guy. He's the same type of guy, calls you up, asks you questions, wants to know what's going on. Brad Wilson now at Urbana. Brad was at
The second
Westminster.
coming of Brad
Right.
Wilson.
Joe Polis at Walkersville.
Who
He's
won a state
won a
championship.
state championship. He knows what he's doing. So again, off the beaten path too. We mentioned Keith Robinson at you at Falston.
Perry,
Yeah,
well.
he was at Perry Hall. Now he's at Falston. So great guy. So any suggestions coming in on your thing?
No,
No.
they was kind of quiet. They
They're
said
kinda
Augie
quiet.
Maselli,
Augie.
Augie Wobble, those guys, the older guys.
Right.
Of course, you got Mark Macero still out there.
All right.
Great.
So stop cheating off of my
I know
my
Mark
list.
anyway. You know
All
what
right.
I'm saying? Wing
All right.
T you to death.
So again, guys that are been mentors to us. Mark Mazzaros knows Wing T, best offensive line coach I've seen in a long time. Stool, the president of the Maryland
Shout out
Football
to Greg
Coach.
Hoggins.
He's Maryland Football Coaches Association president, revamping that. It's been retired now
Mark,
for 5 or 6
get
years.
a
Does
cell
all of this
phone.
without a
Mark,
cell
get
Get
phone.
a cell phone. I'm
Mark,
tired
get
of
a
it.
cell
I am
phone.
tired
All right.
of
Does
it.
all of this without a
Oh,
cell phone.
there you go. You just heard a ping. I got a cell phone. Okay. All right, then we got to shout out to Doug Duvall again. Doug's the president of the Baltimore Touchdown Club.
Miss Jan is the president.
Yeah.
It's like, what's
Doug,
up, Doug?
Doug is
Doug's one of
her
the winningest
assistant.
coaches. Doug's was inducted in the Washington Washington Touchdown Club.
Doug
Hall
might
of
be
Fame.
in
He's
every
in the
Hall of
Maryland,
Fame.
right? He's in every Hall of
Yeah.
Fame. Doug really looks after you, gives you advice, is always there for you. He's more than just a football coach. Great fisherman. I don't know if you know that. He goes out fishing all the time, catches fish. So he's
And his wife bakes all the treats.
right.
I'm stuck on Jan right now. I'm sorry.
So
Shout out to
again,
Doug, but Jan
right,
is
so
the-
again, they should name something after Doug real quick. So
I tell you what, he one of those coaches that'll just pull you in and just give you a hug, and you be like, "Hey, coach, you know my name?
right.
He know everything
Yeah.
about
All right.
you."
Yeah.
All right, next guy I want to say Mike Working. Remember Mike Working?
Yeah.
At Mount St. Joe at
Originator
McDonald.
of the A it out.
So Mike's down in Tennessee. Story about him is funniest thing is I was at Cardinal Gibbons. Mount St. Joe was our rival. We were playing well at one point, so they were like rekindle the rivalry, play Mount St. Joe. So we played them on a Friday night in front of like 3,000 people, and I think Keon Lattimore and all those guys were on the team, or I think J.J. Outlaw might have been on the team, and I was coaching for thing. We punted the ball to Mike. Well, it came up. There was like a minute left in the game, or a minute left at halftime. They're up 38-0 because they had a great team, and Gibbons was small back then. He takes a timeout. I punt the ball. JJ takes it to the house, 38-0. They wind up beating us like 58-12 in front of 3,500 people. I go up to Mike afterwards. Hey, Mike, we're friends, aren't we? Come on, man. What are you doing? You're like my mentor. You're teaching me how to be a football coach. What up? And Mike looked at me in the eyes and said, "You had a bad game plan. That's basically you had a bad game plan. Next time, plan a little bit better."
Hey, friends,
So,
keep it
yeah,
real
right,
with you, man.
so I was like, all right, Mike, no problem. I understand totally. And then
They
him and
don't
I have been friends
sugarcoat it.
ever since. Butch Schaefer. Did anybody say Butch Schaefer?
Butch Schaefer.
Butch Schaefer at Glenelg did a great job there. Very knowledgeable of the game. Great stories about Butch down at Ocean City at the coaches convention. He was always a blast down there. And then I said Ben Eaton.
So you said
Anne Arundel County, you got Rob Harris
He was
Yeah,
drinking.
Rob Harris. I
at
forgot.
Broadneck.
Yeah, Rob. I forgot to mention Anne Arundel County. My fault. So,
Jack Walsh at Arundel that was under Coach Markowitz.
Nick
for a while.
Goodmalloy.
Nick Goodmalloy.
My
Right.
man,
Yeah.
Nick Goodman.
Ed Dolch.
Yeah,
Ed's doing a great
you got
job
Mike
down
Francis at Meade.
there. Right. So
Yeah,
so
so-
again, Anne Arundel County's got coaches down there going on.
And Chad McCormick at Old Mill.
Right. Again, guys that meant a lot to me. Vic Corbin at Cardinal Gibbons still involved. Teaching Frank Tricka. We said George Petrides, and again we said Biff, Roger Wren, and Brian Abbott. So, what about any more you can think of that we forgot?
Nope.
Hey, down in DeLon Parish, we got to mention him.
Yeah,
DP,
DeLon.
you got about
Yeah.
5 of them rings
J-
right
JC
now.
You got
Pinkney.
Ferragamo at
JC
Ken
Pinkney,
Island.
right? Chuck Markowitz.
Yeah, definitely JC Pinkney.
Who else?
That triple option.
Any
Lord
guys we
have
missed?
mercy.
Is Eric's not the head, but right? Is Eric the head? Wait.
Eric Wade.
Yeah,
Eric
is
Wade.
he-
Suitland.
he's
Down
Suitland,
Suitland. He's
Suitland.
down Suitland. Right.
Yeah.
So
You
I mean,
got Eric that just retired from Damascus. He did a really good job
Right.
there before he stepped down.
Right.
And what's the name who left and went to Maryland that's coaching at Maryland?
running back coach was at DeMatha. Elijah Brooks.
Elijah Brooks.
So again, we covered many guys tonight. Talked about what it takes to be a great high school football coach. Again, any young coaches want to get some knowledge, go to www.baltimoretouchdownclub.com. Send us an email. We'll hook you up with a staff. My suggestion is you find a staff you want to coach at and call the coach up and tell them you want to coach. I tell you right now, another funny story. Seasons of Life down at Gilman. I met a guy down there named Chris Dawson who wound up being a school teacher at Gilman. Went to Tulane University. He said he was at Tulane, didn't grow up in Maryland. He read the book Seasons of Life by Joe Ehrman, and he said the book was so inspiring to him and what Gilman football stood for. He called Biff up and said, "Hey, I'm coming into town. I'd like to sit down and interview, talk to you about how you did things." And came up here, sat down with Biff, said, I want to work here and I want to get a teaching job. Wound up getting a teaching job at Gilman, was with them for a long time.
Coach Ehrman is a great guy. He started a program when I was young called The Door, right on the corner of Orleans and Washington Street.
Right.
It was just like
That's not West Baltimore County.
no East Baltimore City.
Okay, not West Baltimore County.
Right up by John Hopkins.
Yeah.
But he started a program for kids, inner city kids, and it was like we had one pool table, a ping pong table, but we loved going there, and that's when I was introduced to Gilman. He had a football camp at Gilman. I think Coach Sherm was still the head coach. Biff was an assistant then, and it was exciting. Coach Ehrman, really great guy. Played for the Colts, very inspiring.
Some good ones out there, man. Definitely some good ones. John Pastor, who coached me for many, many years, assistant to John Buckeister. I mean, those two guys, man, what they did with, we only had 27 kids, but it was just 2 coaches.
You got Steve Turnbull.
You got Steve
Oh,
Turnbull.
Steve Turnbull. Yep. How do we forget Steve? Yep.
Yeah,
Steve.
gonna,
Sorry,
hey,
brother.
you put that on rip, Coach.
Right.
It's all
Steve
on
coached
rip.
with me at O-line at St. Paul's and won all those championships
Exactly.
in Hereford. How did we forget Steve Turnbull? Are you
Jesus
kidding me?
Christ.
All right. So closing up, we'll finish this out soon. We'll shout out to all the youth coaches out there. Again, we're high school coaches.
Herb East Step.
Everybody knows X and O's, but it's about teaching these kids. What about all the guys? Curtis Gore out in Howard County. There's so many people out there we know that coach youth football. Todd Denner with our
Shout out to Mike Savage that did it so many years at Pikesville.
Yeah, so many years.
Now he's
Right.
at Newtown.
So I mean, there's so many great guys out there. We want to shout out them. All right, so we're gonna end that segment on coaches. Great job, you guys did the research. We're gonna finish up on predicting some games. So we actually have a football games high school. Loyola is at St. Paul's this week. Who's gonna win that game?
Is that
Loyola.
Is that Loyola?
No, it's not.
That's what you put.
No, it's Loyola at St. Paul's.
Well, I'm going with Loyola.
Loyola,
Like your
the
attitude.
quarterback has run away from the cop speed.
Right, and the running back, I'm gonna go with Loyola by 45. All right.
Wow.
Second game,
Hey, that's how you do your old school.
Spalding
Lord
versus
of
Mount
mercy.
St. Joe, or Mount St. Joe's at Spalding. Mount St. Joe at Spalding.
Kyle? Kyle, I love you, Kyle. Gotta go St. Joe. Hope you're not watching.
That's a toss-up for me. You know, the number one receiver in the country ain't playing. That's a toss-up for me.
He's not playing?
No.
No.
He's leaving for school in January. University of Oregon.
All right. I'm going to go with the home guys, Spalding.
I
I'm
feel
going with the
bad.
home guys, going with the Spalding guys.
I take Mount St. Joe by a touchdown.
All right, we're going to go Curly is at John Carroll at 6
I
o'clock
can't ever
Friday
go
night.
against my man Brink.
Never go against Brink.
John Carroll by 14.
John Carroll. Brinkman's going to wear some kind of camouflage and scare the bejesus out of people.
Yeah, they got a running back, that kid Hemby up there.
Yeah,
He's pretty
Hemby,
good going in
he's
Maryland.
pretty good,
He's pretty
yeah.
good. So I'm going to go with also John Carroll by 2 touchdowns. We would have playoffs this week, and somebody yelled out before the thing, Milford
Oh, boy.
would be playing Hereford. Who would win that game, Milford Mill or
Milford
Hereford?
Mill by 40 in the
John
first.
Walters' first year being the head coach at Hereford. I'm going to give that guy Reggie White the edge.
Steve Turnbull's on their staff. I'm going to say Hereford by 3 touchdowns. I'm going to say Hereford by 3. You won't be able to stop the option.
PlayStation
triple
version
option.
of Hereford by
The triple
3.
option. I've seen them. You won't know how to stop the option. Stop the option. You can't stop Hereford's option. The running option.
Shout out to Joe Bosley. I'm not sure how many wins he got. either.
Steve Turnbull was on the JV staff the last 3 years, and I think they were 30-0 or 30-2 or something. So you're not going to stop option. Okay, moving right along. All right, let's go. Let's go pros now. Ravens versus the Colts.
Colts, I'm taking the real Baltimore team.
I can't stand him.
I'm going with the COVID-19 team. The COVID-19 team. Oh, well, my fault. The
whole linebacker crew.
the whole line, right.
Ravens by 3 touchdowns.
They in Indianapolis.
Ravens by 3 touchdowns.
And we got the Mayflower trucks in the parking lot.
I'm going with the Colts again, beating them. Ravens just aren't getting it going on right now. Packers versus 49ers.
Packers, that's a no-brainer.
49ers.
The whole 49ers
Packers,
team.
right?
hurt.
Roll right. The whole 49ers team out. All right, Steelers versus Cowboys.
Steelers. The Cowboys are starting Cooper Kupp at
Cowboys.
quarterback.
Nope. I was going to say Cowboys with the points, but no, Steelers. all
Steelers.
day.
Saints versus the Bucks.
Saints over the Bucks.
Tampa Brady.
Tampa Bay.
We beat
Brady
them
taking them
once.
down.
We beat them
Bay.
once in Tampa, but now they got to come to New Orleans.
Tampa Bay.
All right, college. We're going Clemson versus Notre Dame. Clemson, no quarterback.
I think Clemson pulls it out just off of experience. But it's going to be a tough go without Trevor Lawrence.
Coach?
Notre Dame, Alabama moves to number 1. That's all I know.
I'm going with Notre Dame, too. Their defense is just too
I'm
swarming.
so sick of Alabama. Alabama like Trump.
Alabama.
Just like a bad rash. They won't go away.
Damn, that's pretty harsh.
Because he had a negative positive test?
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how Trevor Lawrence and COVID protocol and Nick Saban was coaching that the one day.
That was a positive, negative, positive test.
Saban has like 10 zeros after his salary. All right.
Technical difficulties.
Mike, back on. Sorry about that. I was going to say something I shouldn't have said. All right, Florida versus Georgia.
Georgia.
I don't know. The quarterback at Georgia. The quarterback at Georgia is
toss up.
not
I want to do toss up.
What do you toss up? You can't go toss up.
Toss up.
All right, toss up.
Georgia by 3.
Georgia looked like Gibbons when I was there. I'll go with Georgia because of their uniforms. All right, and the last game we're going to predict, and we're going to call it a night. We're going to call it a podcast for the year. Maryland at Penn State. Penn State 0-2. Maryland 1-1.
Penn State by 25.
Penn State by 40.
Did you see the game last week?
Shout
Like
out
that
to
was
James
horrible.
Franklin, Penn State. A squeaker. 12
squeaker?
points.
12 points? Are you kidding me?
That was horrible.
All right. So we're going Maryland. We're going with Penn State. Everybody's got Penn State. All right. Again, hey, we want to thank you. My microphone. Thank you for tuning in this year to our podcast. We want to thank our producers. You want to shout them out?
Yo, shout out to Greg Watkins, a.k.a. DJ Greg the Hammer, and shout out to Greg Hargis, a.k.a. the best O-line coach in the state.
In the state.
It's my guy.
Claude of Mercy.
Guys, did a great job this year. Again, podcast number 9. We're wrapping it up. Holidays are coming.
We're only ending the podcast because Chicago PD, Fire, and Med starts next week. And we have to be home in
Shout out to
time.
the original host, Greg Trogdon. What's up, my OC? How you
Right.
living?
We miss you, Greg.
Whoa.
And as they say at the end,
Shout out to the competition.
shout out to the competition.
And you just follow along with that, don't you?